We got the 221 and we got two for you guys, because literally you're getting a V8 luxury sedan for the price of a Honda City, you know, so welcome back to another episode of Horsepower Cartel. Today, finally, is the day. We got the 221 and we got two for you guys. Long awaited video. I actually happen to get you guys an S500. This is for sale with my company, Limitless Luxuries Mumbai. You can go ahead and DM us if it's still for sale and go check it out on the post. If it's sold, I'm gonna write sold. If not, then DM us for pricing. So far, it's been a hot commodity. Everyone's been hitting me up because literally you're getting a V8 luxury sedan for the price of a Honda City, you know? So this got way more features, obviously. Probably missing a few features like Bluetooth audio and stuff, but other than that, it's got a lot of features. Before we get started, I just wanted to compare between the two models. Now, this is the S300, you can say, the V6 engine, the 3-liter, which is having the Black Bison kit by Wald, and this is a regular S500, you know, no kit, nothing at all, bone stock. So let's see the big difference these kits came with compared to, you know, regular S-Class. Right off the bat, I want to show you guys that you can see the front bumper, how much lower it is compared to a regular S-Class bumper. You can just see it's got a little front lip as well. It's got the daytime running lights into the front bumper, just like that, but it's obviously placed in a different area. As you can see, it's got the side skirts, different fenders. Obviously, you got the rear bumper is different as well with the quad exhaust. Quad tips, you could say, but it's still dual exhaust. This is dual exhaust as well. But one thing I want to talk about the W221 S-Class, and why it's so special, is the most important S-Class of our generation, and that's because the new S-Class looks just like the C-Class, looks just like the E-Class. From far away, you don't know what it is, and back then, you can actually tell this S-Class was the S-Class. Compared to the C-Class and the E-Class, it was way different looking. And the best part about it, I love, as you can notice on both these cars, now on the black, you might not notice it, but you might notice it on the silver in the video. Silver, you can notice these lines on the body. So the lines on the body, as you can tell, are really muscular. It's kind of like a wide body kit. I don't want to say a wide body kit, but you can see the way it comes out, you know? You see this body line going down all the way down towards the end. Now the difference between these two, the S500 came with the panoramic sunroof. Some of the S350s did come with a panoramic sunroof, and they were the few CBU models, because I remember the S350s were an SKD and the S500 was a CBU, 100% import. This one has panoramic sunroof, it has night vision, it has comfort access, so you can just walk up, lock the door by just touching the handle, and you can also unlock the door without taking the key out of your pocket. And it also has push to start. It has a fridge in the back as well. So S-Class is known to have the fridge, and usually in the 500 models. So yeah, that's the major key differences between the 350, the 300, and the 500. Now, the only option this doesn't have, which other S-Classes do, is memory seats. You can start with 3 memories in your memory seat settings. This also has heated and cooled seats, where this one doesn't. This also got massaging seats, but it's only for the passengers in the back. So there's a lot of features this didn't come with. This was basically the base model, you can say, for the S-Class, and then this is the top model besides the 600s and S65s and S63s. But this is a mass-produced model that was sold here in India. Starting out when this car first came out, the base model for this, the S350 petrol, was about 94 lakhs. It went up to 110, which was for the S500. And if you calculate that for inflation, that's about 150, 160. What S-Classes go for these days, I think it's actually cheaper now. Because I think with discounts you can get the S350 for like 125 and the S500 obviously for a little more than that. I know these were way more expensive compared to S-Classes now, if you get what I'm saying. And you can just tell the build quality on this. This is perfect. Instead of that stupid piano black trim that everyone uses, this one actually has real wood grain. And not saying that the new S-Classes don't, but this car just has better feel and touch points compared to the newer S-Class. Alright, so I can't embrace the fact how this S-Class is the most important S-Class of our generation. Now, I grew up in the 90s, somewhat, you know, But I mean, I never really saw that many W140s as much as I've seen W221s. Well, how about you? You've seen more 221s obviously than 140s, right?
Yeah, probably the first 140 was yours.
Okay, so there you go. By the way, link is in the description. You can check out the review for that car as well. Probably one of the best S-Class ever made. Believe it or not, Ruel, they spent $1 billion on the R&D of that car. A lot of things that you saw in that car carried over to this car, like the soft closed doors. I know some of the W140s had air suspension on it, which obviously got carried over to this. Different technology in the air suspension. Like this is airmatic, and I think that back then that was the ABC, the active body control, or a different type of airmatic. I'm not sure. But this one has the airmatic. Also, this is the first S-Class to be introduced with all-wheel drive. This came in a four-wheel drive variant as well, called the 4MATIC. What I like about this S-Class the most, it was a glimpse into the future. Basically, Mercedes was just flexing on everyone, showing what they could do. It was a bridge between, you know, like the older Mercedeses and a bridge into the future, what was coming. Okay, so some of the key features that the 221 came with is radar guarded cruise control, air suspension, which adjusts to your driving style, night vision camera, massage seats in the rear and in the front, depending on the model you had, climate control glove box, a fridge in the back, auto close on the trunk. So I know that this S500 model has automatic close and open for the trunk. You don't need to manually go and open it. Soft close doors, obviously, and it's the electric one, because previously soft close doors were available on the W140 and the 220, but I think they were vacuum, where on this it's more electric. It's easier to maintain, less maintenance, definitely easier to rectify if something goes wrong. Also, it has auto blinds all around, rear glass and the front two glasses. It's automatic, so you can just put it up with the touch of a button on your doors. As you can see, you got all the comfort features and the luxury features back here. Of course, one thing I do got to tell you about the S-Class is it's standard with the, you know, fold down mirrors. So girls love this car because they can get their makeup done, you know. It's got a climate control over here. You can adjust it if you want it on your feet or on your face. You can put it manually, you can put it auto. You got AC vents on the pillars as well. Heated and cool seats in the back. As you can see, this car is really well taken care of. As you can see, the plastic's still on there. But this car was available with a tray table. Pretty cool, you know, you can eat your food on here, put your laptop, work, whatever you gotta do, Ruel, if you want to edit your videos or something, you know. And I think this is standard on the S500. I don't think the S300 that we have at home has this. Like I said, that's a little dumbed down version of, you know, the S-Class. Over here you have your 12-volt charger. You got your cigarette lighter as well. Standard S-Class thing to have ashtrays on every single door. Yeah, man. S-Class is just luxury on wheels. It's a house on wheels. Also, if you happen to get a 221 in some countries, which came in a short wheelbase, the long wheelbase is actually 5 inches longer. So India luckily got the long wheelbase. They didn't have any short wheelbase. Now the long wheelbases are known as a V221, where a normal short wheelbase is called a W221. So I guess you could say me saying W221 in this video is just irrelevant because it's a V221 technically. There's one cool feature I like in this car. It's called the rest button. It's on the AC settings. You can actually hit the rest button and the AC stays on even after the car is shut. You know, you say you have a hot day and you want the car to be cool, you know, before you turn it off. Say you just smoked a cigarette in the car and you want that odor to go away, the AC will stay on after you get out of the car. So it's pretty cool. Now the S500 came with 383 horsepower. It was a 5.5 liter V8, naturally aspirated. Now in the 221, there was also a 4.6 V8 twin turbo, believe it or not, that pumped out close to 420 to 430 horsepower. Now that's the model you want to get. Unfortunately, India got that model later on. I think mid 2012 up until 2010 they had the S350 and the S300 petrol, and obviously the S350 CDI and the S500. Now starting with the S300, which is the black bison one, it was more of a corporate model. Mercedes sold out to a lot of fleet sales like hotels and travel companies. Of course it was available for the public as well, but it was a basic car. It didn't have too many features. It had every features that you would need, but like features like memory seats or like a panoramic sunroof wasn't available. It does have reverse camera though, which is very helpful on a big car like that. The S350 petrol has about 272 horsepower, 345 Nm of torque. And then we got the S350 CDI, which is probably the most popular one in India because of the diesel, which is about 258 horsepower and 620 Nm of torque. That's a lot of torque for a diesel sedan. And I guess it's needed because this is a heavy car, you know. So the S300, which is the black bison, isn't the fastest thing. Like I said, it was used for corporate models and fleet services. It had only 231 horsepower out of a 3-liter V6, where the S350 was a 3.5 V6, and that engine was used throughout, you know, a lot of other models. This S300L, and it only came in a long wheelbase, in India at least. 231 horsepower and only 300 Nm of torque. That's nothing. Regular petrol 3 Series makes more torque than that these days. But it was not needed, you know, it was just a cruiser. And Ruel, have you ever seen me drive this car fast? You've seen me drive my S-Classes, whether it's the 140 or even the newer S-Classes. I just cruise, man. This thing's meant for cruising. Now, what I like about the S-Class is that, for example, I had a long day yesterday and I had to head out, and honestly, I was driving the Prado around and I was really tired, and I had to go out again in the night, hoping I didn't, you know, not feel like driving. But as soon as I got in the S-Class, I was like, you know what? I can do this. But unfortunately, since I was tired, I was falling asleep at the wheel, because this car is soft as hell. Mercedes designed it in a way when you get in it after a long day at work, get in this car, and it just puts a smile on your face. It does what it's supposed to do. It has an amazing interior. The seats are really comfy. The suspension's really comfy. Yeah, man, after a long day of work, this is a place I would love to be in. Honestly, a lot of people rag to me about the 222 being better. Obviously, it's got newer technology. It's gonna be better. But from a car enthusiast point of view, I would say this is my favorite S-Class ever, honestly, because like I said, it's a bridge from past to the future. Yeah, one cool feature I want to show you. So you have this option right here. You press, it says L with the picture of a seat. You press that. Now check this out, Royal. I can adjust your seat from here. So this car was really chauffeur oriented. Like, they wanted you to sit in the back. You know, they wanted you to have a driver for this car, especially in India. They wouldn't recommend you self-driving this car. But I want to do mention, compared to the 222, that I feel like is strictly a chauffeur-driven car, unless you get an AMG. This, man, I mean, you can drive this and you can sit in the back. Where the 222, you just want to sit in the back. You don't even feel like driving because it's really soft. This steering wheel still has the feedback, you know. It still has a little weight on the steering, where the new one is completely soft, it's completely electric, and it's really computerized, where this still has that little analog feeling, you know what I mean? Now, one thing I love about this car is a digital dash, which not a lot of cars have back then. This car was launched in end of 2005, 2006. The digital dash has been available since then, so which is pretty cool, because believe it or not, like I mentioned, this car is for sale, this S500. It's only done 29,300 kilometers, which is nothing for this car, you know. The Black Bison that we have is about 42,000 kilometers, and it's aged so well. One thing I must, you know, talk about is this design on this car, and technology wise and design wise, is just timeless. Like, it doesn't get old. Still see one of these on the road, especially if it's a facelift, it still turns heads. If it's someone that knows something about these cars, it's definitely an eye catcher. So this car, right now with my company, Limitless Luxuries, we are selling it for almost the price of a new Honda City, you know? Like, a new Honda City, I think, is what, 17, 18 lakhs on road? I'm quoting this right around that. I don't want to say what price. You guys can DM me for that pricing. V8 petrol, low kilometers, luxury features. What do you think, Ruel? Bang for your buck? Value for money?
Yeah, if I had the money, I would buy it.
Definitely. Ruel would actually buy two, because he's a baller like that. He has 2 bikes. Yeah, now everyone's going to be like, oh, well, you know, in the comment section, especially, Ruel, you know, these are gonna be like, oh, well, you know, this car might cost you this much, but it's probably gonna cost you the same price of the car to maintain it. No, you're wrong. Shut the up. You guys are completely wrong. Get out of my comment section, do your research, and look up the pricing for these parts, because the parts for Mercedes are super cheap. Now, I know for some people it might be expensive, but it's really cheap compared to the other cars like an Audi A8 or a 7 Series. Now, the aromatic suspension in this, if you go to replace a balloon, or the airbag you want to say, well, it will cost you anywhere between 25 to 40,000. It depends. Obviously, you won't get these parts brand new. You might find a used one in Dubai or wherever you're ordering from, Germany, from a junkyard, or even a refurbished ones, which are pretty good enough, you know? But you can hit up Redline Auto House and get the coilover set up, and I think that's right inside 2 lakhs, and you never have to worry about the suspension ever again. I already discussed it with my boy Romith, who owns the Black Bison, and I told him that, you know, the air suspension, God forbid, ever went bad, we can just go ahead and put the coilover system, and then you just have a maintenance-free car, basically. You just got to do an oil change, probably change the tires once in a year or once every 2 years, and you're good to go, you know. Other than that, these cars are really reliable. The only thing frowned upon about this car, you know, the air suspension. For me, I feel like this car is really reliable. Then again, I do own an E60 M5, so these cars are probably like a Toyota Prius compared to the E60 M5. Yeah, which actually is running amazing, by the way. Yeah, everyone talks about the car's maintenance. I'm telling you right now, if it's in your budget, I would say go ahead and buy this car. If you find one for cheap, around your price, and if you think it's too good to be true, it probably is, but then it's probably not, because these cars' prices are depreciating a lot. And I would pick one up before, you know, they get in the wrong hands and you don't get any clean cars. If you find a really clean one, don't miss out on the opportunity, because I'm telling you right now, guys, this is a lot of car for the money, especially if you get an S500. This car is going to be a future classic one day, definitely. Not anytime soon, but it's definitely going to be known for being one of the best S-classes of our generation. And one thing is the touch points in this car. As you can see, the wood grain, there's no piano black anywhere. All the new cars, you tend to get it dirty with the fingerprints and stuff. Leather wrapped dashboard as well. Now this car, this audio system, as you can see, has been the same since 2006. Now the only feature that this doesn't have is Bluetooth streaming, Bluetooth audio, but it does have Bluetooth for your phone as well. A traditional Mercedes keypad for dialing the numbers, and you can actually link this with your Bluetooth and type in the numbers at the call, end call, pick up call button. So it's pretty cool. This actually has TVs in the back, so you can actually put a DVD here. You have your 6-disc CD changer over here. So this car came with the CD. So this is available on the screen because we're parked, but if we're driving, it will go away. It says in order not to distract the driver. It will be playing on the rear screens if you have it on. And you have various very cool settings. You know, you got your lumbar support for your seats. You got your easy entry exit. Now what that is that you have the steering column and the seat. That's what I love about Mercedes. So when you turn off the car, the seat moves back, the steering wheel goes up. So it's easier for you to get in and out of the car. And you have all these features like locator light. That's your lights when you unlock the car and when the car is locked. So you can locate it in a dark parking lot. Yeah, so there's many features that, you know, you wouldn't think that you could get back in 2006. All these features are available. Ambient lighting, only 3 color options compared to the new one. So you don't have many settings in here to make it a sports car. You do have a sports setting for, I guess, the dampening on the air suspension. It's right here. Along with the air suspension button, you just hit this button. It says sport, and now on the screen it says Airmatic Sport, as you can see. S for sport, E for economy, and M for manual, as you can see. And this thing's actually pretty quick. And as soon as you put it in sport, you can notice that the suspension is and the steering has gotten really stiff compared to it not being stiff. What the hell? That's a tree in the middle of the road. Oh, I think I did speed over it. That's what I love about Mumbai, man. This guy doesn't even know me. He saw the big branches on the middle of the road and he's just moving it. Yeah, this thing's pretty quick for what it is. It moves. Definitely want an S500. Look at that. Another S-Class 221. And it just stands out. That's also in the silver color. So beautiful, man. So beautiful. Guys, remember my cyclist theory? Do you see the weather outside? Do you guys see the weather? It's not raining. Now check this out. I'll tell you why it's not raining. It's not raining because it wasn't the weather. It's not raining because you'll see my friends. Whole lot of gang shit going on over here. Gang. Got the whole crew out today. All right, so Ruel is probably laughing at me right now behind camera because, okay, this car, first of all, let me just start off right off the bat and say that it's got double glazed windows, so you don't know what the hell's going outside. There's going to be a murder happening outside and you wouldn't even know. A good example for that is that because of the double glazed windows, the sound insulation is so good. You know how I said the V8 twin turbo models came in 2012, I guess? This is actually 2011 manufacturer, but 2012 registration. We put the window down and just realized this was making some turbo sounds, and I was like, look, it might be a vacuum leak or something, or, you know, the intake pipe must have come off. No, as we were driving, it was making sounds of turbos, 2 turbos. So we stopped, and I popped the hood, and believe it or not, I actually looked at the engine bay. I actually have pictures of it online of the engine bay as well. I didn't even realize this car is actually turboed. This S500 is twin turbo, the 4.6 V8 twin turbo. It's got 420 horsepower. That's why it's so quick, Ruel. I mean, yeah. we pushed it and it just moved. Now this is a game changer, folks. I might end up keeping this car. Me and my boy Akshay Dubey at Redline Auto House, we've been searching for this car like this. We've been talking about it for like almost 1.5 years, 2 years now, and he would just be like, dude, if you find one of these, don't even hesitate, pick it up. Just had a chat with him on the phone, and he's like, bro, if you're not keeping it, sell it to me, I want it. Because this car, with stage 2, Ruel, what did he say? 550 horsepower to the crank. Stock is somewhere between 420, 430. Stage 2 will crank it up to 550. I'm gonna have to speak to you. I really didn't want to take his name in this episode. I really didn't. I even told Ruel that I'm not gonna take his name. But anyways, I'm gonna have to speak to Yajor to see if you can do a tune on this. I'm pretty sure you can. So like I said, this is a little later 2011 model. I guess that's when it first came in. So if you see a S500 with the blue efficiency tag on the side on the fenders, it is the twin turbo model. Don't hesitate to pick it up. Stage 2, over 850 Nm of torque, about 550 horsepower to the crank. So S500 engine in the older body. For me, it's the best of both worlds. AMG kit and some nice wheels will look dope on this. I don't know. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Long awaited, you know, wait for you guys when it came to the S-Class review. We've been saying it for months, ever since lockdown happened. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions on any cars for sale, please DM my page at Limitless Luxuries Mumbai. And if you guys are looking for certain cars, please message me as well. And I'll definitely be able to help you guys out and source you guys a car for small fee. If I don't have the car myself, I'll help you find the car. Yeah, stay tuned. A lot more coming. We're shooting this on what? Today's a Thursday. So Sunday's coming up. We're gonna have the Sunday drive video up as well from last week. So stay tuned for that. Another Sunday's coming up. We're gonna be out in hopefully the Nissan if it doesn't rain. Hopefully we go top off and do a little sideways action like we do. See you guys at another episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Long morning. Surprising morning. I'm awake right now just hearing that turbo sound. See you guys soon on another episode of Horsepower Cartel.